The tennis world was already buzzing. The Cincinnati Open ticket system had crashed. Martina Navratilova had been left speechless. The Filipino diaspora had descended upon Ohio in numbers never seen before. And then came the words that would change everything. Chris Evert, the 18-time Grand Slam champion, the woman who defined an era of women's tennis, the legend whose opinion carries weight across generations, opened her mouth and stunned everyone. Her comments about Alexandra Eala were not just praise. They were a revelation. They were a validation. They were a moment that transformed casual Filipino fans into die-hard supporters overnight. The Ice Maiden, as she was known during her playing days, had let her guard down. She had opened her heart. And in doing so, she had won the hearts of millions. This is the story of how Chris Evert became an unlikely hero in the Philippines. This is the story of how her words turned a nation's pride into an unshakable loyalty. This is the story of Alex Eala. And it begins with a tweet. It started with a simple message on social media. Chris Evert, the 18-time Grand Slam champion and one of the greatest tennis players in history, took to X, formerly Twitter, and wrote something that would echo across the Philippines for months to come. Incredible that Alex Eala still has anything left in her considering the teen has beaten 3 Grand Slam champs. Thumbs up clapping hands. The tweet came during the 2025 Miami Open, a tournament where Eala had captured the world's attention. The 19-year-old Filipina, ranked number 140 in the world, had done the unthinkable. She had defeated 3 Grand Slam champions in a row, Yelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and Iga Swiatek. She had stormed into the semifinals, becoming the first Filipino player to reach the Final Four of a WTA 1000 event. And she had done it all while running on fumes. Eala had played match after match. She had faced the best players in the world. She had pushed her body to its absolute limit. And somehow, against all odds, she still had something left in the tank. Evert saw it. She recognized it. And she acknowledged it. But Evert's admiration for Eala did not end with that tweet. She continued to follow the young Filipina's journey. She watched her climb the rankings. She saw her capture her first WTA title at the Mubadala DC Open, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the final. She observed her rise to world number 20, a career-high ranking that shattered every Philippine tennis record. And throughout it all, Evert remained one of Eala's most vocal supporters. The Filipino fans noticed. They saw a legend treating their young champion with respect. They saw the Ice Maiden melting, and they responded with an outpouring of love that surprised even Evert herself. Chris Evert was not always known as a soft touch. During her playing career, she earned the nickname, the Ice Maiden, for her cold, calculating demeanor on the court. She was ruthless. She was relentless. She was the embodiment of mental toughness in a sport that demanded it. She once said, "To be a tennis champion, you have to be inflexible. You have to be stubborn. You have to be arrogant. You have to be selfish and self-absorbed." Kind of tunnel vision, almost. It was a philosophy that served her well. She won 18 Grand Slam singles titles. She held the world number 1 ranking for 260 weeks, the most by any player in the Open era. She dominated the sport for more than a decade, engaging in one of the greatest rivalries in tennis history with Martina Navratilova. But the years have softened her. After retiring from competitive tennis, Evert became a commentator and analyst. She found a new voice, one that was more empathetic, more understanding, more human. She began to appreciate the journeys of young players in a way she never could during her playing days. And when she saw Alexandra Eala's run at the Miami Open, she was genuinely moved. Evert knew what it took to beat 3 Grand Slam champions in a row. She had been there herself. She understood the physical toll, the mental exhaustion, the emotional strain. And she was amazed that Eala still had the energy to compete at such a high level. It was not just admiration. It was recognition. Recognition of a kindred spirit. Recognition of a champion in the making. Recognition of a young woman who had the same fire that had burned inside Evert all those years ago. And when Evert shared her thoughts publicly, the Filipino fans felt seen. They felt validated. They felt that their champion had been acknowledged by the best. The Philippines has always been a passionate sports nation. From boxing to basketball, Filipinos have rallied behind their athletes with unmatched fervor. But tennis was different. Tennis was a sport for the elite. A sport for countries with history, infrastructure, and resources. a sport that the Philippines could never truly compete in. Then came Eala, and everything changed. The Filipina teenager captured the imagination of her countrymen. She was young. She was talented. She was humble. She was everything a nation could hope for in a champion. And when Evert praised her, it felt like a blessing from the gods of tennis themselves. Filipino fans flooded social media with messages of gratitude. They thanked Evert for acknowledging their champion. They shared her tweet thousands of times. They made her an honorary Filipina in their hearts. It was not just about tennis. It was about pride. It was about recognition. It was about a developing nation finally being seen on the global stage. Evert's words had an impact that went far beyond the sport. She had validated the Philippines. She had validated Eala. And in doing so, she had created a bond that would last forever. By the time the Cincinnati Open arrived in August 2026, the Eala phenomenon had reached fever pitch. The 17th seed had received a first-round bye, the highest seeding of her career at a WTA 1000 event. The ticket system had crashed due to overwhelming demand. Organizers had scrambled to open additional sections, and the stands were packed with Filipino flags. But the crowd was not the only attraction. Two tennis legends had taken their place in the stands: Martina Navratilova and Evert. Navratilova, who had been left speechless by the frenzy, was there to provide commentary for Tennis Channel. Evert, who had been following Eala's journey since Miami, was there to watch the phenomenon unfold in person. The two legends, once fierce rivals on the court, now sat side by side, united in their admiration for the young Filipina. They watched as Eala took the court. They watched as the crowd erupted. They watched as the Filipino flags waved in the wind. And they marveled at what they were seeing. Evert had seen many great players in her career. She had faced Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, and Monica Seles. She had witnessed the rise of the Williams sisters, Justine Henin and Maria Sharapova. But she had never seen anything quite like this. The sheer magnitude of the support was overwhelming. The passion of the Filipino fans was unmatched, and Eala's ability to handle the pressure was extraordinary. As the Cincinnati Open continued, all eyes were on Alexandra Eala. The U.S. Open, the year's final Grand Slam, was just around the corner. The young Filipino was determined to build on her momentum. She was grateful for the support of legends like Evert and Martina Navratilova, and she was focused on the task at hand. It's an amazing experience. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up and enjoying tennis. Hopefully, it will help grow the sport as well and, in the end, give them something new and joyful experience, Eala said. She added, "It's an honor to represent my country, and I'm super grateful for all the love and recognition I'm getting." Evert's comments had transformed casual Filipino fans into die-hard supporters. The Ice Maiden had melted their hearts, and they would never forget it. The future of women's tennis was bright, and Alexandra Eala was at the center of it all.